Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm Lisa Brown, head of the Native App Experiences team here at SAP. My team builds apps for SAP employees using the SAP Cloud Platform SDK for iOS. Today, you're going to hear from two companies who have adopted the best practices for transforming their business using the iOS SDK. We have a great panel for you, so let's just jump in. First of all, why don't we just take a minute and have you guys introduce yourself, your role, and let us know your favorite app that you are building currently or that you've built so far. Stefan, do you want to kick us off?
All right. First of all, thanks for inviting us to this panel discussion. My name's Stephan Niewöhner. I'm working at CLAAS for almost 8 years now. CLAAS is one of the leading manufacturers for agricultural machinery like tractors or combine harvesters. And I'm responsible for the app development team at our company. And we mainly develop native applications for iOS and Android for our internal customers, but also for external customers and farmers. And we made the decision 4 or 5 years ago that all our internal applications have to use SAP mobile platform, nowadays SAP Cloud Platform technology, to connect to our backend systems. And we use the corresponding SDKs for Android and iOS for developing our applications. And my most favorite application at the moment is the one which we are currently developing. It's called Digital Service Manager. This is an application for our service technicians to improve their daily business, provide work orders and service appointments to their iPhones. And we use quite a lot of the iOS capabilities or iOS SDK capabilities like online, offline stores, push notifications, the whole onboarding flow, and SAP UI5 or Fiori design elements.
Okay, Stefan, so let me continue since we're working at the same company. My name is Yannick Ehlert. I'm a member of the mobile development team at CLAAS. So I'm a team member of Stefan's team. And well, he already said a lot about our company. My favorite app actually is our My Class application, which is available to all our employees in Germany. It includes many frequently used features like payroll information, time recordings, news about our company, of course, and additional information like the canteen plan. And I just like it a lot because we have it is very successful. I think we currently have around 6,000 users across Germany, and we're working on the 2.0 release right now. So we'll be rolling out the new release also to our employees in France and also in Hungary. So yes, there's a lot of stuff coming up.
Okay, hello everyone. This is Sumanth Thunga. So I work for Weill Cornell Medical College in New York. So as the name says, it's a college that we do a patient care, and then we have the medical classes that are as part of the course schedule. So I work mainly on so I manage the mobile team and IT automation part of it. And we are actually in process of building the apps. So we have some patient related apps that are outside for outside patients. But we are right now focusing on the enterprise versions for our employees. So the app, I would say the favorite app will be the one that we are going to release next month. It's mainly focusing for non-exempt employees time card. And we have many other apps in roadmap we have planned to use the native SDKs. So that's our mobile program in a nutshell.
Very cool. All right, so my team has seen building the 30 plus internal apps that we have, that there's many benefits for users and developers for using the SDK. In your experience, what benefits have your development teams and users have seen? Yannick, do you want to start us off?
Yeah, thank you. So I think our employees really like that it just feels native. The app just feels like it fits right onto their phones. And we for our perspective, it's great that we can use all the onboarding and authentication things, but they're just very easy to use. They're also very easy to use for the users, but also what Stefan already said, we like the Fiori components, and they're in line with the human interface guidelines from Apple. So it just doesn't seem like some third-party developer developing a completely different style sheet. It just feels like a native iOS application, and that is one of the most beneficial things we use. Of course, also the authentication and also the features coming up.
Yeah, just to give you just one example of an application we developed, or another example is, as Yannick said, we love to develop native applications, and also our users love those applications. We developed 3 or 4 years ago an application for our forklift drivers in the warehouse. And this application provides all the transport orders about the transport orders which they have to fulfill during the day to their iPhone or iPads, which they attach to the forklifts. And so they directly see what materials they have to bring to a specific workplace, or remove from a workplace and bring them to another workplace, or back to the storage cell. And this application is used frequently every day. And we developed this application for just one location initially, but due to the success, this application is now rolled out in 6 or 7 different locations around the world, and all is based on SAP Mobile Platform, Cloud Platform, and the corresponding SDKs.
Okay, so the app that we are going to release in the testing phase, the key benefits, or the benefits from 2 different the use types, right? So one, the actual users, and the other from the administration perspective, the HR and payroll. So the app that we are going to release is going to simplify one at the authentication for users, and also the key thing is it's going to work offline as a native. Then it's going to capture the location. So it's basically having the the native capabilities of the device. So that's one of the key benefit. And then our users are the alpha users are very impressed with the app, and the ease of the look and feel and the use of the app. So that's one of the key benefit, I would say, using these native SDKs, and then so that we can use all the device capabilities to incorporate the different features into the app.
Excellent. So we all know that building apps and making them successful inside our organization is very, very different. So can you give us some best practices in building apps with the SDK and driving adoption?
When we talk about the best practices, there are many areas that we need to look at. So one is from the developer's perspective, and the other is from the user's perspective, the adoption rate, how we can simplify it, what is the best mechanism that we can release or make these apps available for them, and what SDKs provides us. So looking at that perspective, from the end user perspective, it's mainly the onboarding process. So what we are doing is making sure that the app lifecycle is straight and set, and it's always integrated with the CI/CD solution, so that the onboarding process for end users is very much simplified. And then once they start using the app, so the other best practice that we are looking at is for the authentication mechanism. So what is the simplified? So what does it make their life easier? So that's some of the native SDK features that we are using, is some of the token capabilities, the handling of the tokens. So that's from the end user perspective. Now when it comes to the developer's perspective of for the app lifecycle, so as it's part of the team development, so again, having one common repository and using the SDK features, that way we are simplifying, and we're not adding more complex scenarios here. So we're simplifying the development experience as well as the testing efforts for our test users. So that's the both aspects on the side, and not to forget the design principles. And so that is the another the factor that's for the adoption rate. So if no matter what we develop the screens and then give it to the users, the ultimate thing is they have to use it. So the design principles and design standards are very key in getting the success rate of the adoption. So I think the native SDKs give a lot of flexibility so that we can use all the device features to simplify it. So those are some of the best practices that we use and follow here.
Yeah, thanks. For us, one of the most important aspects is actually before we start with the development, we always create mockups. We use Sketch for this process. We created our own design system, and we also integrated some of your Fiori UI elements which you provided online. And yeah, with those mockups, we can focus on the application and the process, and to keep this application as simple as possible and as useful as possible for the end users. And this is actually the first thing we do in cooperation with the final users before we write the first line of code. And the second important aspect is, so in the past, we mainly used the online capabilities of your SDK, but for the last 1.5 years, we use more and more components or features like the offline stores, the push notifications, the logging feature, or the Fiori UI elements. And I think this is also one important aspect. So you already did a good job, and yeah, as a developer, you should just use these features which you provide to us, and this improves, for us at least, the whole development process a lot.
Okay, so Stephan, you already brought a few good points up. One or two things I would like to add is usually our users are not working in IT. So we have to make the whole onboarding process and so on, we have to make it really easy. So when I come back to our employee services application, My CLAAS, for example, we decided to release it on Google Play and Apple App Store because we thought, well, many of our employees, they are not so tech savvy that they know how to download certain profiles or get an enterprise app. And also then we have the problem of releasing updates and so on. So we wanted to stick to the very common established processes that people already know. And also we wanted to make things very easy, like for example, if they forgot their credentials, it's a very easy process, or it's a very streamlined process, which of course happens from time to time, especially if you don't use your company credentials that often, only for example, our employee services application. And I think it is very important to also take a look at what customers want. So we use analytics in our apps, and we analyze those statistics a lot, so that we see which features are used a lot and which features are, well, actually nice to have, but they're not very frequently consumed. So then we know which features to invest time in, just to make our apps even better than they are already.
Very nice. Thank you so much for joining us today and being such great panelists and sharing with us your stories. Please see sap.com/apple for some more details. And for additional sessions that are related to this one, we have a Dev 120 and a PAR 161. And there's also, as I said, additional website information that you can get on the SDK. You can also continue the learning experience with the SAP Learning Hub platform, which provides exactly that: unlimited access to all of your content, always up to date, over 3,000 titles in multiple languages, unlimited access to SAP Learning Rooms, which provide structured and unstructured information, SAP instructor-led social learning, as well as collaboration. So the exclusive right to buy access to SAP Live Systems on demand, like purchasing internet access in your hotel room, and powerful LMS capabilities to run, manage, and measure company-specific enablement programs. So this is all for one in a single 12-month subscription for a fee that is lower than the cost of attending one 3-day classroom course. So please check it out. Thank you so much for attending, and have a great day.